Yo, what's up, everybody? It's your boy Nar from the Nar Report, back today with another episode. This is episode 51 of the Nar Report. It is a pleasure to be here. Before we get things started, as usual, I just want to say thank y'all for all the love and support y'all have given me on all of my social media platforms here on the TikTok, Instagram, and YouTube. All right. And speaking of my social media platforms, sorry about that, guys. Sorry, let me get the mic, but sorry about that. But speaking of my social media platforms, if you are new to the YouTube, make sure y'all like, comment, and subscribe on all of my social media platforms. Click that bell to make sure y'all get all the notifications on when I go live and when I post stuff. All right. And don't forget to follow me on both of the social media platforms on the Instagram and the TikTok at _NAR_report. All right. And in today's episode, we're going to talk about a lot of things. Week 11 of the NFL season is in the books. All right, we about to get into this NFL playoff picture. If the season ended today, who teams will be in, who teams will be out. And then last but not least, as usual, give y'all my Week 12 NFL predictions. All right, let's get things started. Starting off with the NFL Week 11 recap, starting off with Thursday Night Football. We got the New England Patriots defeating the New York Jets 27-14 in New England. Hey, the Patriots are legit. 9-2 team. Nobody expecting New England to be this good. Nobody expecting them to be leading the division. I thought this team was going to be competing for a wild card, but damn, these boys might win the division this year. All right. And if the Patriots get the number one seed in the AFC this year, it is a problem. I'm telling you, New England is special this year. New coach, Mac Jones, the franchise quarterback, is playing amazing. Stephon Diggs, great wide receiver, and they got a sneaky good defense. So I love what they're doing over there in New England right now, but I just got to see what they do by playoff time. I think they could potentially go to the AFC Championship game. All right, so let's go over these stats. Drake May played a great game. 25 for 34 on his completion attempts, threw for 281 yards. 1 touchdown and 0 interceptions. I think did I say Mac Jones as a franchise quarterback? I meant Drake May. All right. If I did say Mac Jones, I apologize. It's Drake May, franchise quarterback. He played a great game as usual, but it's the Jets, though, so it won't really matter like that. In the Jets, though, Justin Fields did not play a great game. 15 for 26 on his completion attempts, threw for 116 yards, 1 touchdown and 0 interceptions. This was pretty much a domination by the Patriots. They just dominated the Jets on both sides of the ball. But it's crazy, though. When the Jets got the ball first and scored a touchdown to win up 7-0, I said, this game could be interesting. But then it got out of reach. New England found a way to dominate these guys. And that's it. Pats win 27-14. Then we go to the Sunday games in Madrid with the Miami Dolphins defeating the Washington Commanders 16-13 in overtime. This was a low-scoring game, defensive game all around. Washington, you had a chance. You get the ball first in overtime. What happens? Marcus Mariota throws an interception, which lost him the game. That was a horrible mistake by Marcus Mariota. And then once he threw the interception, Dolphins got into deep field goal range, and then Ronnie Patterson kissed the game-winning field goal. But this was a great game overall, though. Defensive game throughout the first half. Second half, there were touchdowns left and right. I feel like Washington could have won this game, but they just beat themselves. Marcus Mariota, I think he played a solid game. 20 for 30 on his completion attempts, threw for 213 yards, 1 touchdown and 1 interception. Tua Tagovailoa played a great game, too. 14 for 20 on his completion attempts, threw for 171 yards. 0 touchdowns, 0 interceptions. Tua didn't even have to do that much because their defense won them the game. To be honest with you, Miami's defense won them the game against the Washington Commanders. But that's it. Dolphins win 16-13 in overtime. And then we go to the fourth quarter, game tied at 13. Washington has a chance to hit the game-winning field goal. Their kicker misses it. Dolphins win in overtime. Now we go to the Sunday afternoon games. Starting off in Atlanta with an NFC South showdown, we got my Atlanta Falcons taking on the Carolina Panthers. Panthers win 30-27 in overtime. Man, another week, another Falcons loss, and I would just say this right now. The season's over. Michael Penix is officially done for the year. Drake London is out for the next game against the Saints. So just go ahead and shut him down for the year. And, yep, and another thing too, we cannot play in overtime, okay? It's like once we get into overtime, I just have a feeling that we're going to lose because that's how it is. We don't play good in overtime. Since that Commanders game of last year, we can't play in overtime. So we got to find a way to win in regulation. All right, though. But this was a great game, though. First half, it was 21-10 Falcons. They dominated on the both sides of the ball. Bijan Robinson and the run game got going. He scored 2 touchdowns. Tyler Algier had a touchdown. Penix played well until he got hurt. The offense was going. Defense played well, too, in the first half. But then in the second half, they gave up. They gave up. And Bryce Young played hurt during that game. He kept holding his knee and all that stuff, but dang, he still managed to throw 448 yards and 3 touchdowns, 31 for 45 on his completion attempts. Hey, it's just something when Bryce Young and the Carolina Panthers played the Atlanta Falcons. And this is the crazy thing that pisses me off, too, as a Falcons fan. They don't play like this against their other divisional opponents. They don't play like this against the Bucs or the Saints. But when they play the Falcons, they want to play like the best team in the division. Like, what is that? But otherwise, though, Bryce Young played a great game in the second half. First half, he struggled, but even though he was hurt, he played through the injury and got the job done. That's all that matters the most. Michael Penix, before he got hurt, 13 for 16 on his completion attempts, threw for 175 yards, 0 touchdowns, and 0 interceptions. Kirk Cousins came into the game, and I'll be real with you, I think Kirk Cousins played well, okay? But it wasn't enough to get the job done in overtime or in regulation against the Carolina Panthers. I think he played well, but it wasn't enough. What I feel like what went wrong is I feel like we rushed Penix to play. I feel like once we saw him in the last 3 games of the regular season, we was like, oh, Penix is a starter. But I just recognize this too. He has a lot of history on injuries. Torn ACL, he is out for the year. In college, he had a lot of injuries. So that kind of reflected a lot too. And it's sad because this was the same knee. He hurt it in week 7 against the San Francisco 49ers with the bone bruise. So it was that same knee, but now it's an ACL. He will be needed surgery. Prayers up to Michael Penix. Bijan Robinson, 23 carries, 104 yards, and 2 touchdowns. Tyler Algier, 3 carries for 10 yards and 1 touchdown. Drake London played a great game, 9 targets, 7 receptions for 119 yards. Offensively in the first half, played well, but in the second half, we collapsed. Multiple mistakes down the stretch. When Carolina scored a touchdown coming out of the gate, the throwing books fumbles the ball. Carolina gets in the field goal range, kicks the field goal, make it a 2-point game. And it's crazy because it was 19-21 throughout the whole second half. After Carolina scored 19, that was a score throughout the whole game until the 2-minute warning when the Falcons went up by 5, and then Carolina drives down the field and score a touchdown and get the 2-point conversion. Kirk Cousins leads the Falcons down the field, gets in the field goal range. Zane Gonzalez hits the kick to tie it and send it to overtime. And I'm kind of liking Zane Gonzalez right now. He has been playing good at the kicker position for the Atlanta Falcons. But that's it, though. Panthers win 30-27, and they are now a half game behind the Tampa Bay Buccaneers for the NFC South. As a Falcons fan, Panthers, good luck on trying to win the division because I don't like the Bucs. All right. Moving on to the next game, we got the Jacksonville Jaguars blowing out the Los Angeles Chargers 35-6. Jaguars dominated on both sides of the ball, offensively and defensively. I thought the Chargers were going to win the game because the Jaguars were starting to fall apart, but nah, Jacksonville proved me wrong. Okay? It's crazy because I was going to go with the Jaguars, but I said, you know what? I'm going to go with the Chargers. and I should have went with my first mind. So Justin Herbert did not play a great game. Offensively, did not show up. Defense was horrible. Ain't nothing much to say. Jags win 35-6. Moving on to the next game, we got an NFC North battle between the Minnesota Vikings and the Chicago Bears. Bears win 19-7 off of a game-winning field goal. The Chicago Bears are officially in first place in the NFC North. Can they win that division? They can, but I don't think it's going to happen, though, because they have a tough schedule down the stretch. So I don't think they're going to win the division, but they could sneak into the wild card. That's all I'm going to say, though. Caleb Williams played a great game. 16 for 32 on his completion attempts, threw for 193 yards, 0 touchdowns, and 0 interceptions. J.J. McCarthy, 16 for 32 on his completion attempts, threw for 150 yards, 1 touchdown, and 2 interceptions. So this was a great game overall, back and forth going on. Vikings won up by 1 with like 55 seconds left. Caleb Williams gets the Bears into field goal range, and they kicked the game-winning field goal. Moving on to the next game, we got the Green Bay Packers defeating the New York Giants 27-20. Hey, Packers, I'm going to be real with y'all. The Green Bay Packers are frauds. Okay? They're not winning the division. They might not even make the playoffs with the schedule they got coming up. So the Packers are frauds, and their offense is not the same since Tucker Kraft has been hurt. Because if you look at the Green Bay Packers offense, their offense runs through Tucker Kraft. All right. But Jordan Love, I feel like he played a great game. 13 for 24 on his completion attempts, threw for 174 yards, 2 touchdowns, and 0 interceptions. Josh Jacobs, who's out for the year, I feel like they got the running game going. Not Josh Jacobs. I thought he was done for the year, but hey, but the running game, they got going pretty well throughout the whole game. They got it to the red zone, scored some touchdowns. That's all that matters. For the Giants, Jameis Winston came in as a starting quarterback and played well. 19 for 29 on his completion attempts, threw for 201 yards, 0 touchdowns, and 1 interception. Man, the Giants almost won this game. Jameis Winston with a chance to tie the game and send it overtime. He throws an interception. Packers win. Moving on to the next game, we go to an AFC South showdown between the Houston Texans and the Tennessee Titans. Texans win 16-13. Close division game. Texans win by 3. Ain't nothing much to say. The Texans play great offensively and defensively. David Mills, 26 for 41 on his completion attempts, threw for 274 yards, 1 touchdown, and 0 interceptions. Cam Ward did not play a great game. 24 for 37 on his completion attempts, threw for 194 yards, 1 touchdown, and 0 interceptions. Close divisional game, ain't much to say there. The Titans suck. Texans, good defense. Next game, we go to the Steelers blowing out the Cincinnati Bengals 34-12 in Pittsburgh. Man, Bengals season over. I feel bad for the Bengals because I picked them to win the division. But there's no need to rush Joe Burrow back to come back from that injury. Just sit him down for the year. Your season's over. Just go ahead and play Flacco for the rest of the year. All right? But, man, that was a huge beatdown by the Pittsburgh Steelers. Aaron Rodgers gets hurt with a wrist injury, but it don't matter because he played well. 9 for 15 on his completion attempts, threw for 116 yards, 1 touchdown, and 0 interceptions. Mason Rudolph, 12 for 16 on his completion attempts, threw for 127 yards, 1 touchdown, and 0 interceptions. Joe Flacco got beat up out there. 23 for 40 on his completion attempts, threw for 199 yards, 1 touchdown, and 1 interception. But, yeah, that was a beatdown by the Cincinnati Bengals. Steelers dominated throughout the whole game. Jamar Chase and Jalen Ramsey spinning on each other. Crazy game, but Steelers win 34-12. That was a must-win game for the Steelers to keep in pace with the Baltimore Ravens for the AFC North. Moving on to the next game, we got the Buffalo Bills in a shootout with the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Bills win 44-32 in Buffalo. Let's talk about it. Good game by both teams. Great game by both QBs. Baker Mayfield played well. Josh Allen played well. Josh Allen, 19 for 30 on his completion attempts, threw for 317 yards, 3 touchdowns, and 2 interceptions. It's crazy because the Bucs defense got 2 interceptions and they could have scored. But, hey, the Bills defense is just good. That's what it is. Baker Mayfield, 16 for 28 on his completion attempts, threw for 173 yards, 1 touchdown, and 1 interception. Sean Tucker with a great game, 19 carries, ran for 106 yards, 2 touchdowns. Man, the Buccaneers need to use Sean Tucker more because he is an underrated running back. All right. But what a game by both teams. The Bills were just a better team. And the Bills trying to keep in pace with the Patriots for the AFC East, and they're trying to make the playoffs. Now we go to the 4 o'clock games. This was a good 4 o'clock slate. Let's go to the one in Los Angeles in the NFC West showdown. The Seattle Seahawks and the Los Angeles Rams. Rams win 21-19 at home. I picked the Rams to win this game. The Rams are officially in first place in the NFC West. Man, what a great game. Seattle with a chance to win it. They missed the field goal. Rams hold on to win it. Sam Darnold played awful, 4 interceptions, 29 for 44 on his completion attempts, threw for 279 yards and 0 touchdowns. Matthew Stafford, 15 for 28 on his completion attempts, threw for 130 yards, 2 touchdowns, and 0 interceptions. Hey, Matthew Stafford just outplayed Sam Darnold. I thought Sam Darnold and Matthew Stafford were going to outdo each other like Josh Allen and Baker Mayfield. But, man, that Rams defense had Sam Darnold lost out there. Okay? He had them lost. But these two will play each other one more time in Week 15 later in the year. So that game will determine the division. And I still think that the Rams are still to beat the Los Angeles Rams are still the team to beat in the NFC West. Moving on to the next game, we got the 49ers beating the Cardinals 41-22. Brock Purdy's first game back played well, 19 for 26 on his completion attempts, threw for 200 yards, 3 touchdowns, and 0 interceptions. The 49ers are back. Okay, despite the easy schedule, they're back, they're healthier, and now they're trying to compete with the Rams and the Seahawks for the NFC West. I don't think they're going to win the division, but they will get in as a wild card. But for the Cardinals, though, Jacoby Brissett threw for 452 yards. Wow, 47 for 57 on his completion attempts. Threw for 2 touchdowns and 2 interceptions. Dang, Jacoby Brissett played a great game. He just didn't have help by the defense. Next up, we go to the AFC North with the Baltimore Ravens and the Cleveland Browns. Ravens win 23-16 in Cleveland. Lamar Jackson, 14 for 25 on his completion attempts, threw for 193 yards, 0 touchdowns and 2 interceptions. Derrick Henry and Mark Andrews got a touchdown in the game, and both of them were rushing touchdowns. So Lamar Jackson did not have to do much because it was the Browns. Their defense did their job. Dylan Gabriel gets hurt. Shadur Sanders comes in, did not play a great game. The Browns' offense is horrible, but they got a very great defense, and that's what kept them in the game. When you watch the Cleveland Browns play, the only thing that's going to keep them in the game is their defense because their offense sucks. And the Baltimore Ravens are back. They're healthy. Lamar's back. The Baltimore Ravens are going to win the AFC North. Moving on to the next game in the AFC West. Man, we had a good one between the Kansas City Chiefs and the Denver Broncos. Broncos win 22-19 off of a game-winning field goal. The Denver Broncos got the AFC West locked up, okay? Just go ahead and give them the division because the Chiefs are not catching them. The Chargers are not catching them. The Denver Broncos are elites. Okay, once they can get that offense going, they are a problem. Let's just talk about that defense. Best defense in the NFL, best pass rush in the league, best corners in the league, secondary is insane. That Mile High defense. When you go to Mile High City, you going up against them Denver Broncos. That defense is legit. Top 3 defense in the NFL, easily the best defense in the league. The Broncos will win the AFC West. And think about it. If they get the number 1 seed, the Broncos are going to the Super Bowl. Okay? And it'll be led by their defense. Okay? I'm going to repeat it. If the Denver Broncos get the number 1 seed in the AFC, they're going to the Super Bowl. All right, because I don't think these other teams can come to Denver and take out the Broncos because the Broncos play well at home. All right. Bo Nix played a great game, 24 for 37 on his completion attempts, threw for 295 yards, 0 touchdowns, and 0 interceptions. But Bo Nix didn't really do much because he got the best defense in the NFL, Mahomes. That defense sacked Mahomes 3 times. I picked the Broncos to win this game, and I said, listen, I understand they don't have Patrick Surtain, but they still got a good defense. And that's what won them the game. Defense wins games. Watch the Denver Broncos defense. Man, Patrick Mahomes, 29 for 45 on his completion attempts, threw for 276 yards, 1 touchdown, and 1 interception, 3 sacks taken. Mahomes did not play a great game. Offensively, they were okay, but it wasn't enough to get the win. But that defense is just too good. And that's it. Broncos win 22-19. Then we go to the Sunday night game. The Eagles beat the Lions 16-9. In Philly, Jared Goff did not play a great game. 14 for 37 on his completion attempts, threw for 255 yards, 1 touchdown, 1 interception, 2 sacks taken. Man, the Lions do not have to go for it on every 4th down. Every 4th down they went for, they failed it. Okay, I understand that the Lions are a good 4th down team, but you don't have to go for it every time. All right. The Eagles, though, this was a low-scoring defensive game. Jalen Hurts, he didn't play well, but he found a way to win the game, and that's all that matters. He also had a rushing touchdown as well, too. Jalen Hurts on his passing attempts, 14 for 28, threw for 135 yards, 0 touchdowns, 0 interceptions, and 1 sack taken. All right. But this was pretty much a field goal game throughout the whole, quarter, 4 quarters. Pretty much a field goal game. Defensively did their job for both teams, but the Eagles were the better team. All right. Last but not least, we go to the Monday night game with the Dallas Cowboys and the Las Vegas Raiders. I'm not going to say much, but congratulations to the Dallas Cowboys for winning that game for Marshawn Nealon. Dak Prescott, great game, 25 for 33 on his completion attempts, threw for 268 yards, 4 touchdowns, and 0 interceptions. Man, the Raiders are horrible. Geno Smith is horrible. The Raiders are a sorry team, okay? Because I ain't going to say much about them. The Raiders suck. And that's it. Cowboys win 33-16. Last but not least, but next thing, I'm going to go over this playoff picture for the NFL. All right, starting off in the AFC, coming in at the number 1 seed, you got the Denver Broncos at 9-2. Like I said a couple minutes ago, if the Denver Broncos are the number 1 seed in the AFC by the end of the season, they're going to the Super Bowl. And it's because it's hard to go Mile High City and you have a pretty good offense going up against the best defense in the NFL. In my opinion, the Denver Broncos got the best defense in the NFL. All right. At number 2, you got the Patriots. It's at 9-2 as well. Drake May and the offense is cooking over there. Mike Vrabel, candidate for Coach of the Year. Defense is good over there in New England. They're building something special, man. This feels like the Brady and Belichick era all over again. But I'd love to see what New England does. I feel like New England could make the AFC Championship game. At number 3, you got the Indianapolis Colts at 8-2. So you got 3 teams fighting for the 1 seed. All right. You got the Broncos, Pats, and Colts. I think Denver will get the number 1 seed because they have more advantage because of their schedule. But the Colts, though, Daniel Jones playing like an MVP, Jonathan Taylor playing like an MVP, best running back in the league. Colts got a good defense, good offense, and the Colts are special this year. I think they're going to win the AFC South. At number 4, you got the Pittsburgh Steelers at 6-4, trying to hold on to the AFC North lead. I think they're going to blow it at the end because the Baltimore Ravens are coming. All right, the Ravens are coming. They play each other twice. I don't think the Ravens sweep them, but I do think that they will split with each other. And Week 18 could determine the division. That's all I'm going to say. At number 5, you got the Buffalo Bills at 7-3. Buffalo isn't the team that we all expected for them to be. We all expected this team to be like the number 1 team in the AFC. They're 7-3, but I think they're still a good team, though. Don't get me wrong. They could still go on a deep playoff run, but Josh Allen has to get over that hump. If he avoids the Chiefs in this year's playoffs, there should be no excuse on why the Bills don't make it to the Super Bowl. Okay? At number 6, you got the Los Angeles Chargers at 7-4. Jim Harbaugh is doing a great job over there, making Justin Herbert better every day. All right? Justin Herbert keeps continue to get better every day. Jim Harbaugh is doing a great job, great offense, great defense. They're building something special in LA with the Chargers. And at the 7th seed, you got the Jacksonville Jaguars at 6-4. And then you got 3 teams in the hunt trying to get in. You got the Texans, the Chiefs, and the Ravens. All right. I do think the Ravens will make it. The Chiefs will make it because, they got Patrick Mahomes. All right. So that's how the AFC playoff picture is looking. Then we go to the NFC. At the number 1 seed, you got the Philadelphia Eagles. They got the division locked up, okay? And they might get the number 1 seed. If the Eagles get the number 1 seed again this year, they're going back to the Super Bowl. No questions asked. At number 2, you got the Los Angeles Rams at 8-2. Hey, this Rams team is special, all right? They are the biggest threats to the Philadelphia Eagles and the NFC, all right? And I feel like the Rams could beat the Eagles, but they just got to find a way to win. All right, you got Matthew Stafford in that high power offense. Kyron Williams, the running back. You got a great wide receiver doing Puka Nacua and Devontae Adams. A young defense that's emerging to the rise. Watch out for the Rams, Eagles. They're y'all biggest threats in that conference. At number 3, you got the Chicago Bears at 7-3, leading the NFC North. I don't think they're going to win the division. That's still the Lions' division to lose. All right. So, but the Bears are looking good right now. I like what Caleb Williams is doing in Chicago. Ben Johnson is doing a great job at head coach. Defense is great over there in Chicago. I would love to see them win the division, but I think the Lions got that. At number 4, you got the Tampa Bay Buccaneers leading the NFC South at 6-4. The Bucs, I understand they're dealing with a lot of injuries, but they still find ways to win games. That's all I'm saying. And the Bucs, to me, are really not that good. I'm not just saying this because I'm a Falcons fan. They are a good team. But, do I think they can go on a deep playoff run? Nah, because I don't think they're that team. All right. For the Seahawks at the 5 seed at 7-3, competing with the Los Angeles Rams for that division. Man, the Seahawks are a special team. Sam Darnold, even though he had a bad game, he's still one of the best quarterbacks in the NFC this season. All right. You got a good offense, a young, great wide receiver in JSN, and a great defense. Okay. So watch out for Seattle, too. I think they are the second biggest threats to the Philadelphia Eagles in the NFC because, as y'all know, when the Eagles and Seahawks play each other, the Seahawks have beaten the Eagles a lot of times. All right. At number 6, you got the Green Bay Packers at 6-3-1. The Packers are frauds. They're not going to do much in the playoffs. And then at the 7th seed, you got the 49ers at 7-4. And then in the hunt, you got 2 teams looking at. You got the Lions and the Panthers. Panthers, the only way they're going to get into the playoffs is if winning the NFC South. Because, as a Falcons fan, in our division, in order to make the playoffs, you got to win the division. All right. So I do think Carolina could still win the division, but they got to win these next 2 games before the bye week. You go to San Fran to play the Niners, and then you're at home before the bye week against the Rams. And then you got the Saints, Bucks, Seahawks, and Bucks again. Meanwhile, for the Bucks, I think they're gonna win the division again this year because I don't see them making a huge downfall. After the Rams, which I think they're gonna lose and go 6-5. Then you got the Cardinals, Saints, Falcons, Panthers twice, and then you got the Dolphins. So Tampa Bay has it pretty easier, but Carolina after the bye week, they got it easy. Besides the Bucks twice and the Seahawks. So this is going to be interesting down the stretch. This playoff picture is coming down to a close. We're 12 weeks into the regular season, 11 weeks in, about to be on week 12. And man, the playoff picture is starting to get interesting. And last but not least, to close the show, I'm here to give y'all my week 12 NFL predictions. Week 12 of the NFL season kicks off tomorrow night, and I'm here to give y'all my prediction for each of these games. Starting off with the Thursday night football game, we got the Buffalo Bills and the Houston Texans. I got the Bills beating the Texans. I do think the Texans defense will keep them in the game. I do think the Texans offense will be a problem for that Bills defense because Buffalo's defense hasn't been playing that well this year. No early Sunday games this week, so hey, we can sleep in until the 1 o'clock games. Next game, I got the Pittsburgh Steelers defeating the Chicago Bears. As y'all know, I'm assuming Aaron Rodgers to play. All right. And Aaron Rodgers owns the Bears. We all know this. But if he doesn't play, I'm going to take the Bears, but I'm still going with the Steelers. Next game, we got the New York Giants taking on the Detroit Lions. The Lions are beating the Giants. No explanation. Next game, this is a good one right here. Must-win game for the Kansas City Chiefs as they're taking on the Indianapolis Colts at home, and the Colts are red hot this season. I think the Chiefs win this game at home. I think they slow down Jonathan Taylor, get after Daniel Jones. At Arrowhead, too, y'all know how the Chiefs play at home. Give me the Chiefs over the Colts. Next up, we got the Baltimore Ravens taking on the New York Jets. The Ravens are beating the Jets. No explanation. Next up, the Patriots will beat the Bengals. Minnesota Vikings, Green Bay Packers. The Packers will beat the Vikings at home. But I would not be surprised if the Vikings win. All right. Because the Vikings always play tough against the Packers in Lambeau. Seattle Seahawks versus Tennessee Titans. No explanation. The Seahawks are winning this game. Now we go to the 4 o'clock games. I got the Jacksonville Jaguars beating the Cardinals. I got the Cleveland Browns beating the Las Vegas Raiders in the Toilet Bowl. Shedeur Sanders making his first NFL career start. I'm rooting for that man to have a great game against the Las Vegas Raiders. We got the Philadelphia Eagles and the Dallas Cowboys. I got the Eagles sweeping the Cowboys this year. Next game, we got my Atlanta Falcons going to New Orleans to take on the Saints. As y'all know, I'm taking my Atlanta Falcons to beat the New Orleans Saints. I just want to beat the Saints. All right, I know we're 3-7, season over, but hey, I just want to beat the Saints. So the Falcons will beat the Saints. Sunday Night Football, great game, potential playoff preview, potential wildcard preview right here. I'm going to go with the Los Angeles Rams over the Tampa Bay Buccaneers and Los Angeles. I think this game going to end up in a shootout. All right, it's in LA. Rams house going to be rocking. Baker Mayfield versus Matthew Stafford. I like the Rams at home. And Monday Night Football, give me the 49ers over the Panthers. But I do think the 49ers are on upset alert because the Panthers, if they can play like how they did against Atlanta, they will win this game. All right. So I'm going to take the 49ers over the Panthers. And that concludes today's show of the No Report. I appreciate all the love and support. Thank you for everybody that joined the show. I was supposed to go live yesterday, but I couldn't because I got caught up in some stuff. All right. But if you are new to the YouTube, make sure y'all like, comment, and subscribe on all of my content. And click that bell to make sure y'all get all the notifications on when I go live and when I post stuff. And if you have someone that loves sports, NFL, NBA, tell them to come to the No Report. All right. Because they can talk to me. I'm a pretty cool guy. And then last but not least, don't forget to follow me on both of my social media platforms here on the TikTok and Instagram at D_No_report. It is right here. That's the same username for the Instagram and TikTok, D_NAR_report. And that's it. Have a good rest of your night. Have a good rest of your day. Wherever you are watching, I'll see you on my next episode. Nard out.